16 fishermen raving out on the town on E. 16 peacocks leave their nest, go flying into mystery. They try to cut the Spanish look, but they look so untidy. Don't ask too much, you'll never get enough when you're flying into mystery. Flying into mystery, when they should be out seafaring. Run out the jib and rig the boom, step back reality. Hey! But when the ship is on the ocean, their nights are so empty. They're weary of the smelly fish and the wash of the salty sea. 16 jolly ravers, each one carrying his own call. They believe it will keep death away when they face the angry squall. Why face the angry squall when you could go dancing? Run out the jib and rig the boom, step back reality. Flying into mystery when they should be out seafaring. Run out the jib and rig the boom, step back reality. Yabba dabba da, yabba dabba da, yat to your rat, to your rat, to your rad. Yabba dabba da, yabba dabba da, yat to your rat, to your rat. Did the 16 fishermen raving? The girls look so fancy. You could eat your fry off the back of her neck, and if you want some more, say please. When fishermen are feeling good, they feel it musically. They go down singing shanties to the dance floor all at sea. To the dance floor all at sea. But go the 16 fishermen raving, run out the jib and rig the boom, step back reality. Flying into mystery when they should be out seafaring. Run out the jib and rig the boom, step back reality. Hey! Yabba dabba da, yabba dabba da, yat to your rat, to your rat, to your rad. Yabba dabba da, yabba dabba da, yat to your rat, to your rat, to your rad. Hey up.
I'm really curious as to your relationship with audiences. And if I know you've done loads of stuff abroad, but one of the big patches would be this country, and just the journey you've had or the different things you've gone through in your relationship with the crowd. Was there a time where you felt trapped by the crowd? Was there a time you wanted to work in defiance of the crowd? Was there a time where you were humbled? All those things that I feel on the road, there's such a you have to engage with them. How do you do that? What's the story so far of your relationship with crowd?
Well, when I started playing, I started doing this in 1966, and when I started doing it, I would come out, I would pick the guitar up, and I would literally try and hide behind it. I would just sing the songs and say nothing. I couldn't even say good evening, and I couldn't even say good night. And that was in the very early days. In 1967, I met a man called Hamish Imlock, and we became really good buddies, and he took me on the road with him. And through watching Hamish, I began to develop a rapport, and I began to understand the importance of having a relationship with the audience. And across the 70s and the 80s, that all changed. There would have been times when I would have been angry and times when I would have been drunk. But for the last 30 years or so, I've really relaxed into it. And I love the relationship I have with the audience now. It's a vital part of what I do. I get my energy from the audience, which allows me to put the songs back out again.
So was there a sense when you saw Hamish that this was something that might not come naturally to you, but that you had to learn?
There may have been, but I'm not aware of that having been the case. I just stuck to it, and I started to copy him. I mean, really, as many other people did. Lots of people were really influenced by Hamish, John Martin, Bert Jansch, Billy Connolly, hugely.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know? he was a wonderful mentor and a great friend, and that's when my journey really began with audiences.
And when you go out on stage now, it becomes dead if you can predict what's going to happen. Would you say that it's no longer an energized interaction if you know exactly what's going to happen when you walk out on stage?
Well, I don't even know what I'm going to do when I walk out on stage. I don't have a set list. I don't work to a set. So very often I will decide what the first song is going to be as I sit down. Which is
wow.
Which is a wonderful freedom to have.
Yeah.
The last stint I did here, I did 10 nights last December and January, and I think over the 10 nights I performed, there was 240 songs sung, but there was 105 different songs sung and always in totally different. And I love all that. I mean, obviously the fact that it's a bit anal that I'll go home and take all the lists and run through. I just love it, It was one fine March morning, I bid New Orleans adieu, and I took the road to Jackson Town, my fortune to renew. I cursed all foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled me heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board of a railroad car beneath the morning sun, and I rode the roads till evening, and I lay me down again. All strangers there, no friends to me, till a dark girl towards me came, and I fell in love with a Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I said, my pretty Creole girl, my money here, it is no good. If it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the woods. She said, you're welcome, kind stranger, from such sad thoughts refrain. For my mammy welcome strangers by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I asked her if she would marry me, but that it ne'er could be, for she had got a lover, and he was far out at sea. She said that she would wait for him, and true she would remain until he'd return to his Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. It's fairly well, my Creole girl, I never will see you more, but I won't forget your kindness in the cottage down by the shore, and at each social gathering a flowing bowl I'll drain, and I'll drink a health to my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I'll drink a health to my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain.
Is there a ritual that you go through when you're singing to yourself at home?
I have a place I usually sit. I love singing. I love finding myself singing, Tommy. You know, you could be a minute or two into a song and you realise you're singing. When I'm running, I run every morning. When I'm washing the dishes, when I'm doing something domestic about the house that doesn't need my mind anymore because I learned how to do that a long time ago. Cooking or, you know, hanging clothes, that kind of thing. I might find myself singing then, and it's more, you know, more connected with it then than you are when you're trying to be clever. Don't mind trying to be clever. Like, I think you can waste too many. I'm starting to think, she says, I'd love if I lived to like 80, 85. But that says I don't have that long, and I don't want to waste time trying to be clever. There's a higher intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in the form of a flow. And it wouldn't be unlike lucid dreaming, or dreaming, like, you know, sleep dreaming. The ones that you remember, the strength of them, the feeling. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about lyric or content. I'm talking about, there's a higher language again than that. It's the feeling of a piece of music. It can be spiritual. John Moriarty talks about it. Tony McMahon talks about it. Now, and I can't talk about it, not academically, but I can feel it. And I can also feel when I'm losing grip of it. And I'm starting to understand why I might lose grip of it.
So does that mean that you sometimes find the business of being a professional singer disorientating and stressful?
Yes. The business of it. I think it's safe to say I'm not in the right industry, but I'm in the right field. But I'll work with that industry. I mean, I'll have to.
Yeah.
But that's not just right industry. No industry is right in my mind. I don't think, it kind of stinks. And again, life is short. I want to feel happy and stimulated and overwhelmed,
yeah,
rather than underwhelmed by what I'm doing, you know.
And challenged.
Challenged, that's it, like, you know, occupied and excited and curious. I look at some amazing nights here, and it's probably my favourite venue in the county. There's been so many of them, and it feels like a gift to come in here this evening, because Christmas as well, you always end up in here somehow, opening up for someone singing a song somewhere, you know. Over the last, I don't know, 7 years or so. And so this year that's not happening. So it's lovely to be in just even for the afternoon and do the chat and sing the song. And what do I want to say? Like, these venues are like, they're very important to us. This is where we do a lot of our freaking out, our dreaming, our big moments that we have and feel. They happen in these places, you know.
We're held here as well. We're held by the audience here. It's not just that we get to express ourselves, it's that we are welcomed and we are buoyed by others, and they say yes. So we when we're here, we're not alone.
That's it. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it?
Why do you think this venue works the way it does? What is it about it, do you think?
Well, if you look from the stage out into the space, it's not fancy. It's not about the decor, and it's not about looking around the room. It's about looking at the stage, you know, straight on. Which I guess, and for the audience as well, they can look around them and see everyone around them. It's a little bit like a small stadium. You're here for one reason. You know, this man's going to make you laugh for an hour, hopefully. Or this woman's going to make you cry, maybe, you know. And it's in a historic part of town as well.
In this part of town, there's a vitality that you can't put manners on. There's a disobedience. The place is thrumming with outlaw spirit.
It's real.
Yeah.
I mean, the women are still selling on the stalls out here and all of that. I mean, there's a proper sense of community.
The wind whistled you in behind the springtime. Float old note new among my mind. You hold the note just moves to move man. Let go the note and so move everything. I can't come to quantify the feeling. I was walking home half in the dreaming. The things that I was thinking I was singing. The wind whistled you in behind the springing. A star and a rings around a star before me, and a spun and swooped and sank in rock beneath me, and mirrored what I've carried since I met me, and it shot me back into the ground below me. And there I met another note long buried, and I sat upon its shoulders was a memory. A home but see above me's gone so noisy. I almost think I do not recognize me. Feathered friend, dig up and resurrect me. I long to live among the song of birdies, a lawless league of lonesome, lonesome beauty. Skies and skies and skies above duty. The wind whistled you in behind the springtime. Float old note new among my mind. You hold the note just moves to move man. Let go the note and so move everything. I can't come to quantify the feeling. I was walking home half in the dreaming. The things that I was thinking I was singing. The wind whistled you in behind the springing.
what we do is a really essential part of the human spirit, and it is deeply, deeply missed. I mean, when I was waiting for you, I walked up to buy the paper at the corner. All the women who sell the flowers were asking me, Harry, when are you opening? If I'm down around the docks where people know me, when are you opening? There is a deep need for people to come together. It's just to be there and to watch one of their own do something that doesn't come out through the telly.
Yeah.
And we have now discovered that these places are much more important than anybody thought. And one of the things I've discovered during this, when we get up and running and we start to make a few quid again, every penny I make is going to go back into this to make the fabric of it stronger and better, to increase the experience, because I didn't understand how important they were until this happened and until we didn't have them. Not just me and the art, but the artists and all, but the actual public are suffering because they don't have the ability to come to a place like this.
What were you hoping for? What were you thinking with Vicar Street?
Originally, this was meant to be right beside the point. And I couldn't get the deal to work because of the land. But I always had it in my mind to build a small intimate venue. That wasn't a theatre, that was actually a venue. And it's very, very important that people understand this is not a theatre. It doesn't have a proscenium arch. But because of the way it was built, with a little bit of luck, it turned out to be fantastically intimate.
But there's also an amazing fluency between the audience and the performer in that room.
Correct, yeah.
There's something
Now,
about that room.
You can't plan that. That just happened. That was just a happen chance. We got lucky. And when you go in there, even if you know nothing about theatre or performance or art, you immediately know that you're in a special place where there's a communication between the artist and those who've come to see it. And it makes it, several people have told me, it's easy to perform in there. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy. But
Not easy, but it's easy to reach them.
There's a wind at your back and under your feet.
Correct, yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this, and maybe, I hope you are, but this venue and the other venues as well, they're a remarkable thing to have in the city. And they're like the way a seal needs breathing holes in the ice, a city needs a place where it can exhale. Now, we get it in places like Croke Park, and we get it in, but to have a venue like this in the city is, and especially in this part of the city, where things are a bit left, where, there's a kind of a vibrancy here. It's so, there's a vitality to the location here, and the fact that it's so well respected all over the world is a credit to you, so fair play.
Thank you.
with the softest of feathers. It is not written stone like the walls of a chapel, and soon it is gone like the soft winter's apple. When the young people dance, they do not dance forever. It is written in sand with the softest of feathers. It is not written stone like the walls of a chapel, and soon it is gone like the soft winter's apple. When the young people dance, they do not dance forever. It is written in sand with the softest of feathers. It is not written stone like the walls of a chapel, and soon it is gone like the soft winter's apple. When the young people dance, they do not dance forever. It is written in sand with the softest of feathers. It is not written stone like the walls of a chapel, and soon it is gone like the soft winter's apple.
What effect does winning awards have on you?
Do you want the polite answer or the honest answer?
The honest answer.
We don't really care.
Don't care.
I mean, that sounds kind of rude. It's
not
flattering.
rude, no.
It's not that we don't care. I'd like to qualify that a bit, which
I was
is
just
that,
about to
like,
qualify it.
the idea of awards for music or music being a competition is just madness to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no one's you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
not about who is best. And I think that awards more so are for, like, giving the nod to certain people and being like, you know, congratulations, you've done some good work. No matter who wins then, the feeling of winning them is absolutely bizarre, you know? It's just, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I've never won anything, like, before that kind of stuff. I'd never even won, like, a raffle or, like, you know, like an art competition in school or nothing.
Yeah.
So it felt strange.
I think there's kind of two things going on with us. One is that we kind of started getting a bit of a name for ourselves probably when we were a couple of years older than when a lot of people would. A lot of people might start a band in their 20s, early 20s, and if they're getting a load of, like, acclaim or praise thrown at them, it's probably a bit easier if you're a bit younger to be like, get hepped up on that.
Yeah.
Whereas we kind of had the benefit that we're like a couple of years older, but also, yeah, coming from maybe like a more cynical kind of punk background and stuff like that, you kind of like, you're able to look at it maybe a bit, like step back a bit and be like, yeah, like it's flattering and it's lovely that people think you're that great, whatever, but like.
Dara does our online stuff. I'm terrified of the internet and I'm really bad at using it. I'm just really shy in the internet. But Dara is very good.
But that kind of gives you like an elusive, kind of cool.
I'm not elusive.
mystique.
I'm just shy. I'm just shy on the internet. I don't know. But Dara does all the Lankum stuff and he's very good at the internet, actually. He's very good at it.
I enjoy it. I actually just really enjoy the absolute buzz you can have with it. Really like take the piss out of some people and it's good crack, like.
Are you a troll? Is that what you're admitting to?
No, but I mean, I recently got the band in a bit of trouble with Taylor Swift fans. We had a bit of a run-in with the Swifties. But I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Well, after about a day, for the first day, I was just terrified because it was like a horde of zombies kind of coming at us, and I was just like, what? Like, I've never seen that like this in my life. But like, I don't know, like within a day or two, you're just like, this is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
You just kind of like, it's that kind of thing, you can just having that platform, it's never been around before. Like I was saying with the punk thing when we were younger, like people would make fanzines and maybe 20 people would read what you have to say, and now you can say something like 20,000 people see it. It's crazy.
So had you been in punk bands all through your late teens and 20s and stuff?
Yeah. Like weird, like hybrid shock rock cabaret.
What was that called, Tara?
Well, there was Cat and Nine Tails, Knife at a Gunfight, and then after Knife at a Gunfight, we had a band called Fuck You Written in Shit.
And did you ever do Live at 3 or?
No, funnily enough, they never invited us on. No.
There's a funny dynamic there because, in terms of say fidelity to a song and doing right by a song, especially if it's like I remember being struck when the first time I was listening to the kind of the Dublin tenement songs, or that's the phrase that came into my head when I was listening to them, and the kind of the wanting to honour that and wanting to tell that story, wanting to just be respectful for the situation that the song came out of.
Yeah.
And the ghosts of the people that it's about and the person who wrote it and all that. And then there's the punk thing of, let's, fuck you written in shit. You know what I mean? And it's a strange old collision, isn't it? That you've one working against any expectation and refusing all discipline and refusing to have manners put on it. And there's the other one then of fidelity to tradition, to honour certain people. It's an odd tension, isn't it?
There is that to it, but then there's also like the more you look into that sort of stuff and the more you like see where a lot of those songs are coming from, there's actually a lot of similarities as well between the two things. Like the more you look into punk music as well, you realise that it kind of is a form of sort of folk music, just a bit more aggressive, but it's coming from the same place. And if you look into the history of a lot of the songs in Ireland, say, it's definitely coming from a similar place of like, a lot of them are like angry, have a lot to say about oppression, about working class people, about that kind of thing. And kind of like, there definitely is like links and threads that can be drawn between the two. And then of course you have the likes of the Dubliners to a smaller extent, but then the likes of the Pogues like perfectly mash the two of them together.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, they really are probably more similar than most people would think.
How would the year have gone if it wasn't for the pandemic?
Amazing.
We had lots of good things that were going to happen. I just got a big Sharpie and X'd them all out in my diary thing, so I couldn't read what was written underneath the Sharpie for my own sanity.
Yeah. I think we'd basically just about gotten to the point where we'd like done the slog for 4, 5, 6 years, probably more, 7 years, and like really, really worked so hard to like do our very best with the band. And this year really was like almost like the fruition of that, like the calendar. I remember looking at it and being like, holy shit, it's like Supersonic Festival, Roadburn Festival. They had us booked in at the Prada Museum in Madrid to do an acoustic set in the room of
with the
Goya's black paintings. We were going to do a set there. We had the Barbican in London with Shirley Collins, who's a hero of ours.
Who we've never met, and she's a massive hero of mine. And would have gotten to play together.
Probably would have made more money than we had up to that point. It was a big year. It was like, this is it. Finally, this is it. And then it was just like, gone.
But at the same time, I have to say that I'm really grateful that the timing-wise we did get to release our album the way you usually would release albums. And we had done all that before anything changed in the world, and the amount of people who don't get to do that. And I'm really grateful that we did,
Do you feel a difference between the studio and the stage? And
I'm not a studio person at all. I don't like recording studios. In actual fact, I don't even use them anymore unless I have to. You know, all the recent albums have been recorded on the road,
Yeah.
in dressing rooms, at sound checks, in hotel rooms. And some people, like people I've worked with, the studio is their natural habitat. Mine is here. I love it out here. This is where I like to be.
what do you think happens to you when you're on stage?
Nothing can get to me, really. Once I start singing a song, I'm going into the song. It's almost like a meditation for me. Even at home when I'm rehearsing, I can. It's kind of like meditating. It's just some relationship I've had with songs all my life. I can remember the first songs I learned as a small boy. They affected me. And then I can remember the first time I became aware of the power of song was I was singing Titwillow in the Mikado, and I was 16, and I realised there's something going on here, because there was an atmosphere in the room, and I'm singing a Gilbert and Sullivan song, and that was a powerful realisation. You know, it was a big moment in my life.
The confidence to walk out. I'll decide when I hit the seat, the song I'll sing. The confidence to be able to declare, I'm just myself. I'm asking you, the journey to that, what was that? The journey to that confidence over the course of your career, how did you get there?
Well, I suppose I spent decades getting to the point where I had a large repertoire of songs, to get to the point where I have many, many people who will come along to hear me. I was no longer striving for things. I was no longer seeking to have a hit album I was no longer seeking. I'd arrived at a point where I was comfortable, and at a point where the audience seemed to be comfortable. So does that answer?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But was there a singular moment when you recognized that was the case?
No. There were things along the way. There were big things along the way. One of which was getting myself together. Like, I had a heart attack 32 years ago, and that was a sobering moment. And after that, everything changed for me. You know, my attitude to life changed.
When you book something here, do you notice how you feel about the prospect of playing 10 nights here? Like, is there a feeling that the venue gives you?
Oh, I love it. I love the whole thing of coming into Vicar Street. I love the whole. I mean, I've played here hundreds of times now, and it's. Well, in a way, I mean, I won't say it's like coming home, insofar as I've played here more than any other venue in the world, and it's. I like everything about it. There's nothing about it I don't like, you know.
But I realised recently I was talking about home with some friends of mine, and I realised that this is actually the only place that I feel at home.
As a performance space?
No, as in my life.
In your life?
I don't feel at home at home.
And when you say this, are you talking about all stages or this stage?
I think specifically this one.
Okay. You feel more at home here than at home?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
you might be let in when you get
what?
home. You might be let in when you get home tonight.
Yeah. It's my time to go home. That's my feeling anyway, you know, or my recognition of it. And anytime you try to put words on it,
I can relate to that, though. I can relate to that as you know, there's a certain kind of thing when you hit a song, and that atmosphere comes into the room, and there's this thing going hither and thither. It's like, I don't know. It's a magical, special, spiritual thing, you know. We're feeding off each other. We're putting it out, and they're sending it back, and it becomes a collective. And one of the most amazing things for me is this doesn't happen very often, But you get to the end of a song and there's silence. There's a spell that the audience don't seem to want to break. And then somebody might start clapping, you know.
Yeah.
And it's that's so special, you know, that there's a couple of songs can bring that on.
Let us remember. Let us remember. Mackenzie's soul lies above the ground in that pyramid near Maryland. Easy jet is hanging in the air, flying everybody everywhere. See the slave ship sailing into port. The blood of Africa's on every wharf. There's a ley line runs down Matthew Street, giving energy to all it meets. Hey, does this train stop? Does this train stop on Merseyside? Hey, does this train stop? Does this train stop on Merseyside? Alan Williams in the Marlborough Arms gives Beatles stories out to everyone. The famine boats are anchored in the bay, bringing in the poor and desperate. I can't believe what those children done. Guess there's a meanness in the soul of man. Yorkshire policemen stand with folded arms while people try to save their fellow fans. Hey, does this train stop? Does this train stop on Merseyside? Hey, does this train stop? Does this train stop on Merseyside? Oh, let us remember. Oh, let us remember.